Hey guys, I just finished reading Wildcard by Marie Lu. I don't know how to put my thoughts into words. I am happy, but maybe not completely satisfied. I'm gonna give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I love it, and I do love it. This book has stunned me, and I don't know how to react. This book will definitely be winning an award at the end of the year, without a doubt. I will make my own category for it if I have to. But Wildcard, you did good. Hey guys, it's me Jessica, and today I'm doing a review for Wildcard by Marie Lu. This is the second and final book in the Warcross duology, and oh my goodness, do I have feelings for this book. I have feelings. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin. I do. But first of all, kind of my thoughts in a non-spoiler section, if you're just kind of seeing this and are trying to decide whether or not to read Warcross and Wildcard, I 100% recommend this duology. It is so fantastic. I don't even have words. The first book, which is right here, is just so much fun, and I flew through it. I also flew through this one, and it's just such a great kind of futuristic urban, I don't want to say fantasy, but like urban sci-fi, I guess. And it's just so well written, and the characters are fantastic. The plot is amazing. I highly, highly, highly recommend this book and the first book. They're so good. Joy read Warcross, I think within 3 hours or something like that. She like sat down, read it, and it was done. So this book is just really fantastic. I'm gonna give this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I can truly give it 5 out of 5 stars, despite how much I loved it. There's one thing that just kind of like, I just can't. And I'll get into that. Alright, spoilers, here we go. Alright, so oh my gosh, this book has so many messages in it. Like, normally when I read a book, I don't really think about what the message the book is trying to convey, because it's just kind of like, I get it, I don't need to, but I feel like this book has so many messages. I mean, there's those moments with Zero slash Sasuke and Tanaka, where, between those characters where it's like, okay, this book is about like two brothers coming, like one finally finding the other and trying to save him. But then there's also kind of like, there's just the whole aspect with Dr. Taylor and kind of like how far are we willing to go for science. Not only that, but Hideo, Hideo's his name, Hideo's kind of algorithm, you know, there's another kind of like, how far are we willing to go to protect or do something in the name of protection. And I feel like there was just so many messages, and of course also in the end, like, do we really need the technology that the Neuralink provided humans? Like, do we really, is that essential to our life? And I find like it's just so, there's just so many messages. Like, there's a point where like Sasuke and, is it Sasuke? It's I'm gonna say Zero, just so I don't pronounce it wrong. But there's but like, you think of like Zero and Hideo and how it's like, it's just, there's so many messages, and I loved it so much. And I feel like this book wasn't just Amika's, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, with Warcross, Amika was definitely like the main character, and kind of the plot was driven because of her, I guess, because like she's a bounty hunter and she's finding the clues. She's driving the plot forward with her investigation. Well, this one, it just felt like it felt so open. I don't know, like, because we've got Hideo and we've got Jax and Zero and Taylor, and then we've got Amika, and then we've got the Phoenix Riders, you know, we've got all of them. We've got Tremaine, and there's just so much. There's just so many characters, and it all feels very cohesive. It all feels well planned out, and I absolutely loved it. I am very, very happy with the way Marie Lu went about Hideo and Amika kind of coming together again. I like how we have that first interaction between them after Amika wakes up from when she's drugged, and Hideo is like worried about her, but he's trying not to act worried about her because he said that she said that she doesn't want to kind of be with him anymore, and he's like, he wants to respect that. At the same time, he's like, why can't you just understand? And he's also like, I like you a lot, and every time I have to look away from you, it's too hard. So I really like that kind of that interaction between them in the beginning, because it also kind of, I feel like it was, because if they hadn't talked to each other and then Amika goes to the art gallery to see him, I feel like it just would have been very different. It would have gone very differently. And since we had that initial interaction in the book between them, it kind of really establishes that like this is the relationship between these two characters at the moment. And I just absolutely I love their relationship so much. I love it so much. So there's one scene, it's a very long scene, and I cried. And that is when you hear about Sasuke? Is it Sasuke? I want to say it's Sasuke. When you hear about Zero's backstory, I cried. Like, even thinking about it right now, I am so sad. Like, I'm smiling, but I'm like literally sad because, oh my god, like just going through all the files and watching him like grow up and meeting Jax and falling in love with Jax and then kind of deteriorating and then just becoming an artificial intelligence. It hurt. Like, even now I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I cried for a good hour after reading it. It was just like, even during reading it, I was crying. Like, it was, I can't even begin to imagine, like, even reading it. I said watching it because it's like, I like visualized it so, oh my gosh, like just, oh, I couldn't, it hurt. It really, really hurts. Like, because like, we don't know Zero very well in the beginning of the book, but then going through all of his files and like watching the videos, you grow up with him, you see kind of like this hopelessness he has, but he holds on to some semblance of hope with the blue scarf, and then he also gets more hope when it comes to Jax, and then it's like, and then there's just that one moment where he gives away the scarf so then he can have a day off, and on that day he runs away, and then it doesn't work out, and then Taylor threatens her adopted daughter Jax, and it's just kind of like right there are the two times that he's like lost the only two things of hope he's ever had, and that's when he really gives in to this program. And it's from there, it's just like, from there I just started bawling. Like, I couldn't handle it. And then in the end, when like they download all of Sasuke's iterations into Zero, into his mind, and he kind of has like, he's not this evil like AI anymore. He's an actual person, despite the fact that he's just data. And for a second there, I thought that he was like deleting the Neuralink and also himself. I thought that he was like deleting himself. And if you follow me on Books Amino and you read my reaction to it, yeah, I teared up and I cried as well, but not as much as when you learn that like Zero is artificial intelligence. But I was so happy in the end when she gets a phone call and it's Zero and he's like, "Are you gonna take the deal?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I think I am." Like oh my gosh, I love that. I love that he's still there, and I love that Hideo kind of got his brother back in some way. And I knew it wasn't gonna be like he was gonna get his brother back in like 100%. As much as I hoped that would happen, I knew it wasn't gonna happen, and it's just so sad. It's so sad. Alright, so I want to move on to something else. I want to talk about the reason I can't give this book a solid 5 points, 5 stars, is the ending. I am happy with the way it ended. I'm happy, but I'm not completely satisfied. And I feel like there are a few books, thinking of it now, Champion by Marie Lu is another one of those books where I'm like, I'm happy that like everyone's okay and none of the major characters died, but I'm unsatisfied. And after I finished the book, I kind of it was like, I think 1 or 2 in the morning when I finished this book, and I stayed awake for about an hour longer just thinking about the ending, and I feel like there was no other way to end it. Despite the fact that I'm unsatisfied with the ending, I felt like there's no other way to end the book, to kind of end this story, because if you think about it, we have the Neuralink, we have Warcross, we have, you know, this virtual reality, we have all of these kind of fantastical sci-fi elements, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And we're suddenly grounded into reality with like Hideo being arrested and like all of this stuff happening. And like all of the Warcross, like the Phoenix Riders and Tremaine like talking about what they're gonna do now, now that there's no Warcross, now that what they were doing as their job is just like imploded. And so it was like, I was like, everyone was happy and everyone was okay, but it was just like, it felt like, it just didn't feel right, you know? It just didn't, like, I wish that like Hideo and Amika, like Hideo didn't have any like prison charges or anything like that, and then him and Amika got together, and you know, it was just like perfect, and you know, they rode off into the sunset. But like, another message of this book is that like, just even though we want that, and even though the characters want that, that's not realistic, and Hideo's decision to make the algorithm and to kill Taylor through the algorithm, that decision has a consequence, and he has to pay that consequence, which is, you know, jail time or house arrest. Yeah, one thing I found really funny about the ending is that in the end you read the article and you find out that Amika becomes CEO of the gaming company that made the Neuralink and Warcross, and I found that's really funny, that because like Hideo is the CEO and now she is. I found that they swapped, and I really, really like that. Jax is in prison, but in some ways she still got what she wanted, which was to have Zero be free, and you know, she can talk to Zero on the phone, like and like, so Jax is in some ways happy. Like her adopted mom is gone, and you know, she saved the person that she loved, and now she's paying for the things that she did, even though her mother's the one that like kind of forced her to do it. In a way, it was Jax's decision to do it. 1, to stay with Zero, and 2, to stop what her mother was doing. So I mean, yeah, it's like all the characters that made choices that had consequences, they had to endure those consequences, which is, you know, which is why the book couldn't have ended any other way. Like, we couldn't have just let Hideo off for murdering Taylor when literally everyone saw it. So, yeah. One thing that made me very angry was Ken. Because I really, really liked Ken in the first book, and to think that even in the first book, Ken was probably not, like, probably not a good person, it really hurts because I liked him and I got so angry because Taylor said that Ken was feeding them information for months, and that means about like the whole kind of the reason that like Amika was hired as a bounty hunter for Hideo was because like Ken was feeding them information and Zero was hacking into Warcross. And just to think that when Zero tells Amika that the reason he was hacking into Warcross and trying to stop Hideo was to make sure that the algorithm didn't activate. That was what Zero claimed. But if you think about it, that's not even true because Taylor wants the algorithm to kind of be a dictator, you know, to control everything. And so, like, even in book 1, there are still lies because, like, in book 1, at the end of it, you think, okay, what Hideo's doing is bad, what Zero's doing is good, Zero is Hideo's brother, and, like, all of this stuff. And then if you think back on it, like, that's not even true. Like, Zero was being controlled by Taylor, and Taylor wanted to take over everything. Oh, it's just like, it's so good. It's Marie Lu. This is, I think, by far one of my, like, this duology is by far the best thing that I've ever read by you so far. I mean, there is, if you don't follow her on Instagram or I guess Twitter as well, you don't know that, like, there's going to be a 4th book in the Legend trilogy, so it's not a trilogy anymore, but there's going to be another book, and I'm just, like, I love this duology so much, and I think it's so good, and I love that, like, Hideo and Amika got together, and I love how she told him everything. Like, she told him everything. When she found out that she couldn't trust them, couldn't trust the black coats, she was like, Hideo has to know everything. This book was really good. I say that a lot. I loved the whole sequence of going into Zero's mind and trying to find, you know, following the path that Sasuke has led for them to go through. I love that part so much. I love how each and every one of the Phoenix Riders that joined them, you know, was touched, and you got to see kind of like, I feel like a memory, a defining moment in their life. But I also love the moment before that when they're trying to get into the panic room. Oh my god, that scene was like, she wakes up and like she's like strapped down to a chair, and like so is Hideo, and Jax is pretending to be controlled, and that whole scene I loved but also hated that scene so much. Oh my god, I can't even, like, that scene just had me dying. And so, like, that whole kind of end scene leading up to when they, like, finally get back Sasuke was absolutely fantastic. And if Wildcard was ever made into a movie, those scenes, those sequences have to be done perfectly. So I don't really have anything else to say besides that I love this book. I read it in 2 days, and I literally have no one to talk to about it because Joy hasn't read it, and Sophia hasn't read it, and who else hasn't read it at all? Alex has the first book but hasn't read it yet, and I've been talking about it a lot, so she really wants to read it, so that's good. But like, my friends haven't read this book and I don't have anyone to talk to about it, so please comment down below if you've read this book. Alright, so I'm gonna stop talking now. If you like this video, please give it a like, and also subscribe and comment down below and ring the notification bell so you guys get notified when I make a new video. I am going to be posting every Tuesday now. Tuesday and Friday just seems a little kind of like, when I get overwhelmed, I shut down. I'm overwhelmed by doing Tuesday and Friday, so I'm just gonna do Tuesday. So for sure there will be videos out on Tuesday, but if there are videos out kind of anywhere in the week, that's just because like I feel like doing it and I post a video, so I will say that. Alright, so that's Wildcard. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will see you guys in the next video.